boys and girls. Today we're diving deep into Destiny's absolute brain melter of a monologue on Sam Hyde, Idubbbz, and the great philosophical question of who would be less of a headache to talk to.
23.
Would you rather have a conversation with Sam or Idubbbz? I don't know. Maybe Idubbbz? I've talked to Sam before. I didn't really have a focused topic on what to talk about, though. I don't think that conversation was that great. It would depend on the environment. If I could sit down and talk to Sam for like 2 hours, maybe. But I don't know if he would trust me to have that conversation. I'm not sure. Like, I actually... A conversation that I really didn't like was the first 30 minutes of talking to Nick Mullen. And then a conversation that I really liked was the last 30 minutes of talking to Nick Mullen. But I think there was like a little bit of buy-in to figure out like what the other person was saying or doing. Unfortunately, things kind of self-destructed the day after. Well, not yet. I guess I'm still here, so I haven't self-destructed yet. But wait, he's confusing himself with Lauren, LOL. Destiny was talking to Mr. Girl and said that. No, there was another person. There's a girl or somebody that Mr. Girl was talking to, and he asked that question. He was so upset by them not knowing if he was an abuser or not that I think he ended the convo. I'm almost positive it was a conversation he was having with somebody else. We might have had that conversation too, but I'm almost positive I saw him have that moment with somebody else. No, I don't believe it was Ayla. I don't think so, but I don't remember. But Nick was super interesting to me because he seemed like a funny dude. He seemed like he'd obviously had a big history in entertainment and comedy, and we were the same age. And then he's like in this weird depressive midlife crisis-ish moment, and he's like branching out and looking for something new and trying to figure out like what drives you or what's fulfilling to you. I just thought that was an intensely interesting thing, but we only had like 30 minutes to talk after, so yeah.
I guess you could say...
Nick retired after that convo? My allegations bothered him that much? It was 100% Ayla? Oh, maybe it was Ayla then, I don't know.
Just for the purposes of this, age, 23. I guess you could say kind of do a little bit of everything. Editing.
With how much you are praising Sam now, it doesn't seem that even with 2 hours, you wouldn't end up just promoting his beliefs. Unless you have some anti-sarcasm tactic. Wait, what? I think he's really good at irony and humor. Sam is, he's a very good eye for aesthetic. He's very good when it comes to, like doing skits and irony and this particular type of stuff. He's very, very, very good at it. He is. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
23. I guess you could say kind of do a little bit of everything. Editing. But I'll like shoot stuff. I'll help write and like direct and stuff too.
Whose idea was weed vape?
That was my idea, but it wasn't.
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a really bad idea.
Why?
Being too high isn't that fun. Funny, but I just don't want to do that.
Okay, weed vape is off. That's not funny.
Mr. Sam, sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to check all the entrances.
All right,
Go back.
Understanding Sam's ironic humor style, where everyone commits to the bit, how can you be so sure he's a neo? Maybe he's playing the long game? No, because good irony or good satire is satirizing something. This is one of the reasons why I'm a little bit critical of Jreg, is because I feel like sometimes he's so ironic, he's satirizing irony, or he's just being ironic for the sake of being ironic, which is not as insightful. It's not like a bad thing, it's just describing things, okay? But if Sam Hyde was being a neo in an ironic manner, what is he satirizing? It doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't coincide with the way that all of his other humor works, you know?
Let me know if we're clear to use this door.
It's a topic that combines the existential weight of deciding between a McDonald's McRib and a gas station sushi platter. Both choices come with serious risks, but one might just give you a spiritual awakening in the form of food poisoning. So our blue-haired philosopher Destiny was pondering the idea of conversing with Sam Hyde versus Idubbbz, and in a rare moment of indecision that didn't involve whether or not to rage quit a debate, he actually had to think about it. I got a job of a conversation with Sam or Idubbbz. I don't know, maybe Idubbbz. Right out the gate, we can see that this isn't going to be an easy decision, because let's be honest, picking between talking to a guy who got absolutely ethered by his own documentary and a guy who might be secretly cosplaying as a neon isn't exactly an enticing buffet of intellectual discourse. Now, Destiny has already talked to Sam Hyde before, and by his own admission, I didn't really have a focused topic on what to talk about, though. I don't think that conversation was that great. Which, if you've ever seen a Sam Hyde interview, yeah, that tracks. A conversation with Sam Hyde is like trying to argue with a magic 8-ball that's also throwing hands. 1 minute, he's cracking jokes about absurdist art. The next, you're wondering if he just casually slipped in a main camp reference or if you're just being gaslit by his sheer commitment to the bit. It's performance art at its most chaotic, and Destiny, for all his verbal dexterity, was not prepared. But he does entertain the idea of a rematch. If I could sit down and talk to Sam for like 2 hours maybe, but I don't know if he would trust me to have that conversation. Now, this is where things get wild because, let's be honest, a 2-hour conversation with Sam Hyde sounds like either a lost episode of Black Mirror or a social experiment that ends with half of Reddit writing dissertations on irony poisoning. There's an entire subculture of people who genuinely believe Sam Hyde is playing 7D chess, and that he's either a misunderstood comedic genius or a sleeper agent of chaos. There is no in-between. Destiny entertaining the idea of a full-on sit-down is basically like willingly entering the hyperbolic time chamber of internet edgelordry. There's no coming out the same way you went in. But here's where the conversation takes a hard left turn into existential crisisville. Destiny, in his infinite wisdom, brings up another chaotic force of nature, Nick Mullen. A conversation that I really didn't like was the first 30 minutes of talking to Nick Mullen, and the conversation that I really liked was the last 30 minutes of talking to Nick Mullen. This is like saying you hated the first bite of a ghost pepper but loved the aftertaste. Nick Mullen is another dude who operates on a plane of existence where satire and sincerity are Schrödinger's cat. Half the time, you don't know if he's just messing with you or if you've accidentally unlocked the secret to the universe while he's doing a bit. But let's get back to the main event, Sam Hyde and his ideological labyrinth. Destiny goes on this weird little philosophical tangent where he tries to dissect Sam's ironic humor. No, because good irony or good satire is satirizing something. And this is where he starts trying to untangle the world's most cursed Rubik's Cube. The thing about Sam Hyde is that he operates in a perpetual state of plausible deniability. He's not saying anything directly, he's just joking. And if you take the joke too seriously, congratulations, you're the idiot who does get it. It's like being in a toxic relationship with humor itself. Now, Destiny acknowledges that Sam Hyde is good at what he does. He's a very good eye for aesthetic. He's very good when it comes to like doing skits and irony in this particular type of stuff. He's very, very, very good at it. And yeah, he's right, Sam Hyde is undeniably talented. But he's also the kind of guy who, if you try to analyze him too hard, turns into an internet version of the Babadook. He's always there, lurking in the memes, waiting for you to slip up and take him too seriously. Then we get to the big question. Is Sam Hyde just an ironic edgelord, or is there something more sinister at play? This is the eternal internet debate equivalent of, is water wet? Destiny argues that true satire needs a target. If you're just doing irony for irony's sake, then what's the point? He brings up Jreg as an example, saying that sometimes irony loops back around so hard it loses its meaning, which, honestly, is the most poetic way anyone has ever described the current state of online discourse. At the end of the day, Destiny lands in this weird limbo where he respects Sam's artistic craft, but also acknowledges the danger of his brand of humor. And let's be real, there's a reason Sam Hyde has spent the last decade existing in a constant state of ban from this platform. The guy operates like a rogue AI that discovered post-ironic nihilism and decided to weaponize it. So what's the final verdict? Destiny thinks a 2-hour conversation with Sam Hyde might be interesting, but there's a real risk he'd just end up inadvertently boosting Sam's ideology. And yeah, that's probably accurate. Talking to Sam Hyde is like playing Minesweeper on expert mode, one wrong click, and suddenly you're the subject of a 4chan thread you never wanted to be in. Meanwhile, Idubbbz, probably a safer bet. Less risk of walking away questioning the very fabric of reality. At worst, you get some awkward moments about his content cop era, and at best, you get a solid discussion about how weird the internet has become. In conclusion, Destiny, my dude, if you do sit down for that 2-hour Sam Hyde interview, bring a map, a compass, and maybe an emergency exit strategy. And for the love of God, don't try to dissect the irony too hard. That's how you end up in a conspiracy iceberg video next to "The moon landing was filmed on a PS2."